Madigan. So ginger root. This is what we do with it. We buy a bunch of it. Really good for you. Super flavorful, and we use it in a lot of dishes. So I'm going to show you how to prep it. We usually basically take all the skin off of it, and then I either leave it whole or I cut it in slices or do half and half. So when we get home from working or doing a chore, it's easier to grab a raw piece of ginger, chop it up for the recipe, throw it right in the pan, then have to do this prep, which is a little bit tedious, so I'm gonna show you how we do it. And then I'm gonna put it in this. So tools for this job are a regular spoon. We use a pretty heavy duty spoon in our arsenal. They don't bend, they're very stiff. Great tool in the kitchen. And then of course my trusty chef's knife. I do have a lot of different knives to pick from, but I love this Shun knife. Show you some of the knives I got real quick. This is this one would surprise you. It's a chef's knife, but it's a Wolfgang Puck. Somebody gave this to me. Gotta be one of the toughest, hardest steels that ever has been put on a production knife. It holds a blade very well. Love this knife. I mean, I think it's only a 9, might be a 10-inch, but it's got its great little knife. This is a custom Zocrist Damascus chef knife, different profile totally. You can see Zoe's signature up there. And this is a burl, a California burl with a little die in it. So it's a custom handle, obviously hand ground. Everything's done by hand by Zoe himself. Really neat knife too, and I keep this one like so. And then I've got the full Shun series. So this is a very nice fillet knife from that same series as my chef knife. That's, I believe, a 10-inch, and it has the rivets on the side of it so you can really separate fish when you're cutting it. Salmon tends to, and tuna, they tend to stick to your blade, as a lot of proteins do. So these little dimples allow it to kind of come off the blade easier. It's one of the design cues of a good separation knife like that. And it's stainless Damascus as well. There's the Shun symbol right there. And of course it gets protected in my knife blade with a sleeve as well. And this, so this is a Mercer. A Mercer kitchen blade is very popular. This is a 10. And again, this is super sharp. Mercer doesn't mess around. I've known Mercer for a long time. We actually entered into talks with them about using our Damascus when I was working with Zocrist. And they just couldn't figure out how to make their knives cheap enough with Damascus because they service a lot of CIA and cooking schools with their knives. Just an amazing knife. And it's got a nice tacky kind of polymer handle. I do like that. It allows you to hold on to it even when it's wet. I think it's one of the better designs out there. I can fillet with this tip too. I can chop with this one. Great knife. Mercer, if you're looking for a good, affordable, quality kitchen knife, get a set of Mercers. I've given out 6 or 7 sets of Mercer knives to friends of mine, my daughter, God, KT, several others, and all of them end up calling me back and saying, Matt, those knives are super sharp. I just cut the shit out of myself. Anyway, great knife. Don't cut yourself. Sleeve back in. And I've got random little things like this. I like a good serrated blade for cutting bread. That's just a cheap one, but it works really well. Cleaver. Japanese, oh, I'm sorry, I think it's Chinese cleaver. Just a standard Chinese market cleaver, heavy, but kind of a smaller one. Has a hell of a belly to it, so you got a good rock, so you can really rock through stuff. Love that knife. Goes through bone as well. What else do I hear? Oh, so this is a Shun bread knife out of the same series as my chef knife, and it is very good serrated knife. That'll cut tomatoes, cucumbers, bread, you name it, and it will do it without scarring, and it does a really good job of cleaning up that cut line. So love that one as well. I've used it a myriad of different tasks and it never lets me down. And then I've got a Japanese series with a, I forget what they call this. I don't think it's a Sotoku, but this is a Wasabi brand. And it's made in Japan. Neat little knife. I've used it for a long, long time. Seen better days, but it is one of my faves. And I've got a true sushi blade from the same company. You can see the bevel on that for cutting fish and sushi rolls. I've used it for that. I've made my own sushi before. Great little knife as well. And then one of the things you must have if you have knives that you like to keep sharp is a good knife sharpening kit. I use the Lansky. Get one, use it, keep your knives sharp so you don't hurt yourself. And the knives last longer. What's wrong with that, right? Okay. And I've got some really old knives from my days at the plaza, but we won't get into those. And let's see here. I do have a nice boning knife that I got with that Mercer knife. So that Mercer knife I showed you earlier, the chef's knife, and this came together. I got him for 60 bucks total on a Facebook post where a guy needed money in Castle, didn't know what he had. I got both knives for 60 bucks. And this little boning knife is super sharp and perfect for getting in and around bones and cutting fish, pork, anything that needs some intricate silver skin or fat cut out of it. I trimmed out a full boneless leg of lamb last week with this knife and did it very nicely because it has a little bit of flex to it. It also has this nice point on it, and this round belly at the top here helps you really kind of pull that silver skin off. As you get the tip popped off the silver skin, you can really pull that silver skin off with a knife like this. Vital if you're serious about your butchering in your own kitchen. Now this is Shondell's knife. She likes the Sotoku, and again, it's got the releases on here for the veg and proteins. It has a safe tip. You know, I guess that's one of the neat things about this knife is it allows her to feel a little more safe and not cut herself as much. Not that she cuts herself a lot, but again, this is another Shun. I bought this with, as a kit, all 5 knives at Blade Show one year, and I did really well. I'm not gonna tell you how much I paid because you'd probably get pissed. But anyway, that's one of the benefits of being in the knife business. And it's a great little knife. I keep this super sharp for Shondell, and that's primarily what she uses. And then I use these little, the final Shun is this little guy here. It's a little paring knife, and it's a Shun. Matches everything else. Keeps an edge, hella sharp, great knife. We use this for a lot of stuff. I've used it, just grabbed it and used it because I know how to use a knife on bigger stuff. So I've used this on carrots, celery, all kinds of stuff. Super sharp, keep it sharp, keep the edge right. I steel it as much as I do everything else. And when you steel a knife, you keep that edge nice and straight and both sides nice and even, you will have a safe knife. So again, that's the last one of the Shuns. We use all these knives almost every day. And then the final piece that's vital for kitchen use is a good set of kitchen shears. We have these around all the time and keep them sterile, keep them clean, and use the heck out of them. This one is a Faberware, and it's stainless steel, and it just works. If you've ever used shears, you know that that's tough to find something that works, so good tool. All right, on to the ginger. I know that took a while, I apologize. Okay, so what you do is you just scrape off your skin. Try to get a flat surface and kind of pull down so it's easier to use gravity and your force to clean as little of the flesh but all the skin off. See how that cleans up? And it smells amazing. Kind of want to make take some of my veg stock and bring it in here and chop up some mushrooms and garlic and a little bit of this, throw some carrots in it, make a little veg soup. So that's a clean piece of ginger. Stick that in there for now. And then when you have a piece like that, how do you get in here? Well, you pop it off. That way you can get to the rest of that and make sure it's nice and clean. just do your best to not waste a whole lot of that. And it will, this is a juicy piece of ginger, so it'll spray a little bit on you, but there's nothing better than ginger cologne. Oh yeah, there is. There's a lot of things better than that. But it smells amazing. It really opens up your sinuses too, which I dig. It's a very nice, natural, effervescent kind. It's one of the reasons they use it in teas in Asia. It's because it does help open up your olfactory senses. It's just good for you. Okay, almost done with the second piece. Then we go on to the last bigger piece. All right. So this is the scrap that's kind of left on there. Get it out of the way and we'll start on the bigger piece. Might want to, we'll see what we can do as we get going here. Sometimes you're going to catch a root and it's going to pull more off than you want, but that's also kind of showing you there's a very tough root there and you probably don't want to eat that anyway. So just don't pull too much of it off. If it starts pulling like half of the damn root off, then, you know, cut it out. Use a knife to cut it out and then use the spoon to continue your job. My best recommendation, I've done enough ginger to know that sometimes you're going to catch a part of it that's very tough. You got to just kind of work around it and then clean it up with a knife. This was being pretty cooperative. Almost done, guys. I know I'm taking a while. I apologize. See, with the spoon edge, you can really kind of dig in there and get that stuff out of there without breaking that knob off. If you do it correctly, you're just using pressure the correct way without popping too much of it off. Takes a little touch, takes a little practice, but you can do it. I got faith in you, man. Seriously. We got all kinds of time now, don't we? Hope everybody's staying safe out there during this COVID shit. I really do. It's awful stuff. Never seen anything like it. And just so you know, it scares the living crap out of us as well. We're staying indoors. We're doing everything we can to distance ourselves from everybody and anything that would possibly have that crap on them. So we can protect ourselves, our parents, and our kids. Anyway, so there's a cleaned piece of ginger as well. This can actually go in the disposal and it'll help the disposal quite a bit. It gives it a really nice clean smell. This is antibacterial as well, so it's a good thing to put down in your disposal. Done. Cool. So at this point, we're going to cut a little of this up, put it back in here so it's ready to be prep worthy when we get to our next meal. I'll probably leave the big chunk like it is. Fresh board. Do the small pieces that I just did. So these are the pieces I just did. Uno, dos, tres, pinche grande. So that one will probably survive the longest. We'll cut these. And really, I don't recommend people doing this. I've been doing this a long time, but this is probably not the right way to cut these for people that are novices. Don't do that. Just go ahead and cut them and then put them, stack them back together. I'm a little anal because I'm an old chef, so I can do that and not cut myself. Anyway, So after that, we're actually sliced, and that's as far as I want to go down because I can pull these out and chop them up per meal. So put it back in there sliced. Same thing with this guy. Make a nice flat surface, and we'll go boom. Pull him off like that, and use my finger to go across the blade. You see how I'm doing that? All right, let's get a little closer. All right, so you go through, hold your blade there, and it allows that to stay right in line. See how I'm doing that? Boom. And then one final one. Bang. So we just did that, and basically I could put this whole thing back together and show you how I cut it. And the base is on there, so we'll squish it all back together. The base can go back on there, and that is a sliced piece of ginger, kind of back in form, so you can just take it out, put it down like this, bing, 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 dice it up for your meal. And we're gonna wait on that one. And what I usually do is put a piece of paper towel down in there so it soaks up the extra juice and gives you a few extra days of freshness. And you don't need to make it damp because this has enough juice to it. So we just put a dry piece of paper towel, which I'm gonna do right now. So let me take this back out of there. And I'll show you how we do that. Bam. Go ahead and clean that off. You got any ginger down in there, clean it out. Place it down there. Bing. Bing. Chandler Bing. Ginger and knife 101 for you right there. Didn't mean to get so much in the knives, but I'm a knife guy. Anyway, that's the ginger journey. More to come. Eat right, eat safe, survive, eat like you want to live forever. That's what we're doing.